Welcome back, everyone. We're here for a new season of Bruffy's Rugby Offload. We are brought to you in collaboration with Yalla Sports. So that's joining up with Alex and the boys at Yalla Sports to keep spreading the word of rugby around the UAE and Middle East. In today's episode, we're going to be talking to a couple of bustling Bahrain legends. I did that interview a couple of days ago, so you'll see them on here. We'll have a quick chat about the preseason game between Bahrain and the Quins, and then go look ahead at the season ahead and some of what the clubs and stuff have done. So let's get into that. Woo!
Rugby offload in the heat, desert sun in my face, tackles, dust, clouds, no retreat. We set the pace from Bahrain to Doha. Drama in the sands, man, the rugby battlefield is made for tough hands.
Dubai night, Shaheen take flight, we go bold. Dragon spit fire, but we never fold. Exile squad grind like a shark in the deep. Hurricane storming, but we play for keeps. This is rugby in the desert, heat waves collide. Abu Dhabi to Dubai, warriors worldwide. Pass the rock, make the play, this is where we ride. Blood, sweat, and sand, left it all on the side.
Harlequins cut quick, blades through the field. Bahrain lads solid like shields they wield. Shaheen soar high, touch the Arabian sky. But we fight like desert storms, never say die. Rugby lines drawn in Abu Dhabi flames. Sweat rains, grit remains never the same. Doha warriors chant, desert rugby tribe. Underneath the stars, we alive, we vibe. This is rugby in the desert, heat waves collide. Abu Dhabi to Dubai, warriors worldwide. Pass the rock, make the play, this is where we ride. Blood, sweat, and sand, left it all on the side. Rugby offload in the heat, desert sun in my face. Tackles, dust, clouds, no retreat, we set the pace. From Bahrain to Doha, drama in the sands, man, the rugby battlefield is made for tough hands.
Today's guest is the ultimate double life operator. By day, he's a sharp businessman, keeping things in order. But by night, he swaps that briefcase for a whistle as the director of rugby. A true legend of Bahrain rugby. He's the man who somehow manages to retire but come back and play for his country. Made the international debut for Bahrain this year. He's rugby world answer to a Marvel comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Wallace. And alongside Adam, our next guest is, I don't know if you're still captain or former captain. Still captain of Bahrain Rugby Club, the man with the best name in the business. And I only say that because he's even spelled Alistair correctly, or his parents did. He works tirelessly off the field. He is a flanker who takes no shit from anyone. He gets involved in not the biggest member of his pack, but definitely one of the harder workers. Welcome to Alistair Crombie.
Thank you.
All right, boys. We will talk about last season first. I know it's probably not the best thing, undefeated up until the final, but we've got to look at how successful the club was last year.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on last season?
All in all, like it was a good season for us. Like we went well, like again undefeated. But I think we had time to review that in the off season, and I think we went undefeated. And I think maybe a bit of emphasis. We talked about it on the bus on the way here. Was like some of the new boys into the squad, or some of the guys who haven't been around as long. That undefeated thing maybe got a bit of arrogance amongst the squad. But I think if you actually go back and look at the results, or speak to any of the boys that played against us, I think we scraped maybe 4 or 5 of those wins throughout the season. So although it was undefeated season up until the final, it was by the skin of our teeth a fair few times, and I think you can only get away with it so long. And we got the rub of the green maybe 5 or 6 times against other teams, and it come down to the big day and it went the other way.
Yeah, it was a tough day. I did watch throughout the season, and there was a few games definitely where Bahrain showed their ability to win. Definitely, I think the first game you played against Exiles at Sevens, Exiles looked the better team on the day, but you guys just kept poaching away, and then when it mattered, won, and you did that throughout the season against the Quins and some of the other close games as well. Last game was a bit harder, being a man down for 60 odd minutes.
Yeah, I mean that didn't help.
Maybe 50 because they had a couple of yellows as well. No, it was a tough end to the season, but I'm sure it's awoken a lot of the boys that are still here, ready to fight back, because it's a couple of years in a row. This year, I think you guys are still the favourites. going in, from my point of view anyway, and I'm only just a humble media presence.
That's because we're here.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing to everyone. No, for me, you guys are the favourites. You always have a big, strong club, and playing away in Bahrain is probably the hardest thing to do in this league. How do you feel we're going to go this season?
How are we going to go this season? I think sort of echoing what Wal was saying, last year was a decent year. I thought it was a good year to go. What did we play? 113 out of 14?
Yeah.
I think we were winning for most of them. And like you said, I think we just got to a point where we kept finding a way to get over the line. And maybe that got in our heads a little bit. And it came to the final, we just let it slip. So yeah, this season, I guess we've lost a few boys, got some new boys coming in now. Really excited to see them play today, see what they're about. Obviously, you see it in training, but until you actually play against someone, it means nothing, you know. So really excited to see them out there, and hopefully we can just keep stepping forwards. I think all the teams are going to be better than last year, so we just need to make sure we're stepping forwards as well, and hopefully get the job done this year.
I think the fact that we haven't won the last 2 years has done us a few favours as well. A few old boys
Boys are hungry.
have stuck on for maybe one more year than they would have.
I think 100%. Boys are more as hungry as ever now. Like having lost the
Yeah,
last 2
and
years.
it definitely matters. We did look at recruitment. You put a post up the other day, got a few Scottish lads in, a keen player from Japan who's ever-growing social media presence as well. He loves it. I think he might be competing with Romeo for how much stuff he puts up. But no, I think you guys will look forward to the new season. Now, while we're talking about the new season, there's been a bit of a rebrand. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is mainly down to our sort of marketing team and the direction the club wants to go in. We wanted to make the whole club more inclusive. So Elliot Behan, who does a lot of our live streams, and you know you'll hear him on the commentary a lot. He runs marketing for the rugby club, and he, along with the other management staff, looked at kind of rebranding. What's the next phase? What's the next chapter for Bahrain? Since I think it was 1971 we were established. We've gone through several different rebrands throughout the time. We feel like it's now is the next chapter in our book to take that forward. I think we wanted to make the club a lot more inclusive. So when we started out, it was very much a rugby club, but now anyone that's been to Bahrain, anyone that's come and seen our home, it's a central hub now for expats in the prime location in Bahrain. So we've got competitive football teams. Netball's probably our biggest section. We've got cricket teams, people down there playing badminton, gyms on board, people are social members, and the sports continue to grow. We've onboarded the GAA fully this year, so the Arabian Celts now are under the umbrella. So a lot of the rebrand went from being Bahrain Rugby Football Club to just Bahrain Rugby Club, because it's known as the rugby club where we're from. Yeah, all ruggers. Everyone going to ruggers for a beer. But essentially, it's now become a community hub, and the idea was making it more inclusive. And with that came an opportunity to then redesign the logo. And you see a lot of the stuff on social media. Anyone that hasn't checked it out, get onto our Instagram, because it talks about how this new logo, how this new design's come around. And it's not just some company coming in and saying, "Oh, this will look nice." A lot of it is built into our heritage, our history, but then moving that into sort of the next chapter.
Completely different to what my rebrand was. It was this looks nice. I'm going with that. Just try to update a bit. But you guys also played for Bahrain international team.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because obviously that was the first game ever for Bahrain, or at least in a long time. First ever.
Yeah.
You were player, coach, or just player in that one?
Just playing in that one. I managed to get away from the coaching for that one. No, it's something that we've looked to try and establish for a long time, and I think maybe if you go back 5-6 years ago, there was an avenue for teams to actually get into the 15 setup. So they had, I think it was the Asia Rugby Division 3 going into 2, going into 1. I think the UAE came around at the right time for that, get themselves progressed up. Qatar even managed to get themselves up. I think they're maybe Div 1 now or something like this. But since the establishment of sevens in the Olympics, everyone seems to have a focus on the sevens. So there's no real 15s pathway anymore for an emerging nation. And so it's something we want to get off the ground. Obviously, sevens is there and it's established. We're not probably the sharpest tool in the shed for the seven setup. few people long in the tooth, maybe not so much speed in our team anymore. But we really wanted to establish our pathway for the 15. So we worked with Jordan, who've been in touch with us for a couple of years. We've played sevens tournaments in Jordan with them as well. We've got a good link with them. And they're in the same boat as us. They're struggling to find competitive 15s fixtures that enable them to grow that part of the game as well.
Yeah. Will you have... UAE has the problem now, a lot of old boys playing. I think the average age was like 35 in the last international game. It's going to be a problem for you guys as well, because obviously that 5 years being in the country, a lot of guys...
I think with when COVID hit as well, because there was that 2 or 3 years, couple of years, whatever, where we weren't bringing boys out, so everyone's a few years older. There's that gap. So yeah, there was a aging squad, but for 1 or 2 games a year, hopefully we can still kind of bring it together. And there are new lads, young lads, local boys that are trying to get into schools and stuff like that. So bring on the local talent, which is going to obviously help in the future.
Yeah, I think that's important. And even the kids who are at high school in Bahrain, they can qualify. If they go home, play uni, they can still come back out and play. And I think that's really important to the UAE. Just started doing that as well. They've got a couple of players coming out. It's really important to keep going. So, moving on, you are playing today. Now, when this comes out, today is Friday, but it won't come out until Monday or Tuesday. So the pre-season game will be played. You have travelled with a squad. There's a couple of familiar faces missing. I know Big Rory's missing. I spoke to him on Instagram. He said it was PTSD for his arm. And Big Alad Morris. And just resting them, getting their bodies back right, or
no, it's just that time of the year. So obviously we go through pre-season. We start off with the base level of fitness. As we've gone into more contact work, obviously we've lost a few boys to niggles and stuff like this. You know, our main focus is on that first league game in 2 weeks. So it's a lot of boys. We're probably about 8, 9 boys that are still back in Bahrain. You know, injured. Alid's at a wedding today, which just shows you his commitment. No, it's it's that time of year when people have got these engagements and stuff going on as well. So. It's a bit of a big squad today, a bit of a mixed squad, but there are boys to add into this as we got another pre-season next week, and then we'll go into I think it's Exiles away on the 28th.
Yeah. The other reason it is a big squad is it's a 1s and 2s comp today, so it's it's a good time to look at those other guys trying to push up through the time as well. All right, we'll move on from the serious side of things. I've got a couple of would you rather questions.
Go for it.
Would you rather tackle Jonah Lomu at full speed, or would you rather run at Jonah Lomu full speed?
Well, I've never lost a 5-metre challenge in my life. Never lost a run it straight. So if anyone who's watching the pod fancies it, and I'm talking anyone in our league internationally, if Lomu wants to come out of retirement, obviously not going to do that.
That would be a definite skill.
So yeah, I'll take him on head on, 100%.
You with the ball or you without the ball?
No, me without the ball, 100%.
All right.
Yeah, I'd go without the ball.
Without the ball.
Chuck in the spokes, try and get in there somewhere. If he trips up, golden.
All right. Now, being Bahrain, you probably got this in the bag as well. Would you rather play 80 minutes in the full heat of summer of UAE or Bahrain, or 80 minutes back home in the wet weather?
Oh, that's a tough one, eh?
I said I'd never play back home in the wet weather because I've got far too soft now, but I think I'd probably die if I tried playing 8 minutes in the heat or in any time of the year, to be honest.
See, as a former prop, I would definitely be taking the rain. It's a lot of time to rest on the ground between things, but a lot more scrums.
Oh, I remember standing out at 13 with the Under Armours on, the hands are freezing, watching 10-man rugby in the sleet and the snow. So I'd probably go with the heat, but I don't know if I'd last 80 minutes.
Yeah, I'm also from the Gold Coast, so I don't know what real winter is. All right. Okay, so new season's coming up. You guys what are your main targets for the season?
Probably finish strong would be the first one, if I'm honest with you. No, to be fair, it's we said, you mentioned the recruitment earlier on, but we said a couple of years ago we had an executive decision as a team that our age was too high. And we needed to start developing the next generation that are going to come through. So it's about bringing on those new boys. There's some boys who've got capped for the first time last year, bringing them into the squad this year and developing them and building the longevity that they can take us forward. Obviously, we're a competitive side and we want to win everything that we're doing. The goal at the end of the year is to win the championship and be the title holders again. There's nothing worse than being there on finals day watching someone else lift the trophy, and we've had to do that for 2 years now. Yeah. So that's the goal ultimately at the end of the year, but we're still in that building phase of the next generation, so that maybe a few old heads here can actually properly retire and then finally get him to retire. So,
I think we've got that as that balance, isn't it? But obviously over the last 5 years, what we've achieved means our expectations are still sky high. So as well as building, obviously our goal is to go out and do one better than last year. Wouldn't be happy if we don't sort of come away with that.
Now you do have you've set last season there's a pretty good rivalry set up with the Harlequins. Every game was within a couple of points, within a try. Tonight might be no different. Both teams are looking to come out fresh. Who are other than the Quins probably are your biggest competitors this season? Is it easy just to say the Hurricanes because they won it all, or?
I'd say Exiles have traditionally for the last few years. Exiles are always up there, real big competitors with us. Always physical. You know what you're gonna get. I think we played in the first couple of finals was with the Exiles, so they're always gonna be massive competitors. And then obviously the Canes after last year, bit of a sour taste, so we want to get one back over on them, I guess.
Yeah, and is there any particular player in the league that you want to put on his ass?
Player in the league I'd like to put on his arse. Probably one of our own players, someone like Ian Jacobs. I don't mind.
So we're gonna have to wait for the inter-squad video for that.
One on him, to be fair.
All right. All right. Thank you very much both for coming on the show today. Appreciate it. Good luck with the season, and all the best. Get them.
I love what you're doing. Keep it going.
Good man. Thank you.
All right. So that was Adam Wallace and Alistair Crombie from Bahrain. So we'd like to thank them again for coming on. They were great. They end up having a win on the weekend. I think their result was 19-12. They both ended up playing. Adam Wallace and Lindsay Gibson, who were listed as coaches, played. I think Gibbo played about 60 minutes, and still one of their best players on the park. Good from him to step up, but probably didn't want to. He probably wanted to leave it to some of the other lads, but a few injuries and a hot, sweaty night. Hard to get a gauge of which teams were good. The Quins had about 40-odd players going through, so just lacking a little bit of cohesion in there, but worked well together. And then Bahrain with probably the same, and a few guys in and out, and a few of their big boys still missing. But all in all, a good game. Both teams will be happy with the hit out. Bahrain will be happy to keep their slight edge over the Quins and keep that going into the season. They want to go big this season. So we'll go through a few of the clubs and what they've done throughout the off-season. The Dragons have done a bit of recruitment. They've picked up a few players. They're looking all right. I think they've got a Scotland winger, and they've picked up a couple of other forwards. They might still be a little bit light in the front row, which held them back a little bit last season. So we'll see if that has any effect. I haven't heard much coming out of the Hurricanes camp about recruitment and stuff. But we heard there were some problems with their junior club, so maybe that hadn't happened to do something with that or anything. But obviously they won it last season with a couple of big wins at the end. Exiles have had a fair few changes. Jacques Bernardi is starting his own academy out in Dubai somewhere, so he's no longer with the Exiles. They've lost Peter Killian and Munib in the front row. I hear Justin Walsh might have retired, but if anyone can get him back, it's the new coach, Gerber. Durant, yeah, he'll get the boys back and pounding. They've still got that monster rest of the pack, so don't think the loss of Killian and Munib is going to hurt them too much. Big Dave seems to be still throwing the pill in for line-outs and hooking, so they've got Munib covered there. I think they'll still be good, especially up front with those big boys. And they'll still be a contender this season. The Quins have had a little bit of recruitment, a couple of young guys coming through as well, so that they'll do well there. Bahrain have named 4 or 5 guys, but they have that big transition most seasons where 4 or 5 guys leave, 4 or 5 come in. They're hoping to get a bit more stability, especially as they're the one team in Bahrain. They need to, if they want to start developing their international scene, they've got to hold on to their guys for a fair bit longer, so they can play. Because especially if they want to start competing with the top teams in the region internationally. So that's kind of. I don't know much about Doha yet either. I haven't heard much about them. Their pre-season's been looking good and looking strong. They should have their captain, Martin, back soon. So he ended last season with quite a big injury, but he should be back for the start of the season. And they'll be hosting the Quins at Doha first off. So they need to start off with a bang if they're going to perform this season. All right. The big section that we're going to talk about today is Bruffy's predictions. Now, these are my predictions. They're nobody else's. I'm going to predict the ladder for you. So we're going to start at 7th place. Although the Sharks have done a bit of recruiting and their season looks good. Their pre-season looked good. It's between them and Doha for 6 and 7. I can't see either of them getting out of that place yet. The Sharks have made a few adjustments, need to make a few more. But from what I know so far, I've got them in 6 and probably Doha in 7 as they don't travel too well due to visa issues and stuff like that. In 5th place, this is a tough one to call. I think it's either going to be the Hurricanes or the Exiles. I think the Hurricanes will have a bit of a hangover at the start of this season after last season. Everybody were looking at them as the winners, and I don't know if they'll be able to get under that pressure yet. They got away with a great result in the semi-final against Exiles after being down by quite a lot. Bahrain, they beat, they won the game, but obviously that red card advantage, they'll have a huge target on their backs, and I'm not sure they'll live up to it at the start of the season. It'll be fifth, or the Exiles. I'll put Exiles in fourth. I think just with their changes and a few guys retiring, pretty much a whole new back line. They'll be looking at starting the season strong, but I just don't know whether all the changes, whether they'll make it. That will put, I'm going to put the Quins in third. Their pack was dominating again. They're looking at their scrum. It's still really solid if they can get their back line sorted. I know James McCarthy's captain this season. He's got a bit of stepping up to do, but a bit more maturity from him this season. He's got a bit of a reputation with the refs, but he needs to step up and lead the boys, not just try and win it all for himself and let others get involved and let others help him win. He could be the best player in the league. He just needs to make that adjustment and let the other guys around him help him get there. But they're looking good. In second, I've got the Dragons. I think their recruitment's been pretty good. They'll be devoed after last season, so that they need to step up. As I said, their front row might be a problem. Anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, I think could be really, really adjustment. I do have Bahrain at number 1 again. I think their strong pack, their willingness to win, and their home ground advantage in Bahrain is just too hard to ignore. I really think they'll get the job done. Again, I don't know if they'll go the whole way. It seems to be the tipping point. But we did hear from Crombie and Wallace there that a few guys are really burning for it. 2 seasons in a row without it. So I just think this year might be their year to get it done. So those are my predictions for the season. If you have some different ones, absolutely drop them in the comments on the YouTube or the Instagram. Let us know your thoughts. And remember, if you want to be on the show, you want to sponsor the show, you want to do anything, let us know, reach out. I'm happy to help. Also, post your highlights, tag me in them. Make sure they're short and sharp because they get a lot further. But yeah, send them in, tag me in them. I'll share them, like them. I'm looking for everything. Bloopers, amazing tries, big hits, anything you want, let me know. All right, so we'll have a bit more talk about the under-18s soon as well. So we'll get that under wraps and get into this season. So let's have a massive season. Thanks for watching. This is Bruffy's Rugby Offload in collaboration with Yalla Sports. Woo!